I am guided by imagination, open to my creation, creating wins and celebrations. Don't be overwhelmed by information, more important than education. Be inspired by your exploration, on the path to your destination, leading to innovation. Yes, you are guided by imagination. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Guided by Imagination podcast. I am very excited today because I get to interview someone that I met at an amazing event, actually at the San Diego Smooth Jazz Festival. And I was hanging out in the green room and I got in a great conversation with Joel Del Rosario. Welcome, Joel.
Hey, how are you doing? Thank you so much for having me.
Great. I'm so excited to get to interview you and get to introduce you to the audience as well. Joel is a guitarist and songwriter, aka JDR. And I thought, wow, this is a great possible conversation when I met you, Joel, because we were kind of talking about music and I had just gotten the opportunity to see you rocking out on stage and really making the audience at the live event really light up and have so much fun. So
Awesome.
I'm excited to have you here.
No, thank you again so much for having me. I definitely remember that day. That was a really beautiful day in San Diego.
Oh, I know. It was very inspiring to look out on the water and
Oh, yes.
enjoy the weather. It was great.
I remember waving at people from the stage that were boating as we were playing.
Yeah, out on their sailboats and that was
Um,
wonderful. Wow. Yes, let's
Definitely.
just freeze frame that moment.
Mhm.
And actually, that's the power of imagination that you can take yourself back to that moment anytime that you need it in your hectic life. You can just tap into that moment.
Exactly. I do tap into that like these past couple of days.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, I wanted to ask you, especially as a musician, how has imagination made a difference in your life?
Well, imagination is a huge part of the creation process for me, musically. Um, when I create music, a lot of different things inspire me from memories that I have to the situations, just like the Smooth Jazz Festival, performing in front of a crowd, in front of like the ocean, seeing the people in this beautiful venue. It stirs up a lot of emotions in me, and depending on that too, like it influences like the kind of music that I write. Those kind of memories give me kind of like the inspiration to create something more joyful, something lively. It inspires me to create music that will allow people, to want to dance and move their feet.
Ooh, I love that. Exactly. And
Yeah,
visualizing your future with clarity.
hmm
And
definitely.
is there something that you have visualized that has made a difference in who you are as a musician besides what you just shared about what
Oh,
just recently
totally,
happened? What's like,
totally. So
oh,
yeah, totally. So I remember even as early as I would say like in elementary school, middle school, thinking about winning a Grammy. Like, and that's been kind of like a carrot that I've been chasing ever since
yeah.
like I was like a young kid. And like every night I remember my acceptance speech, talking in front of like, the artists and TV. What am I gonna, what I'm gonna say when I receive my Grammy? And since then, and that was like when I was in elementary school, and we're talking about like several decades later on, having that inspiration, and I still think about being up there, looking at artists, legends that I've followed and were inspired by. And just like being on TV, because I mean, it just gives me it I like it's led me to where I am today. So move forward maybe 20, 30 years in the future. I attended the Grammys like two, three times. So I was able to get into that, get fulfill that kind of like inspirational dream, or get closer. So imagine that imagination like definitely inspired me to keep on pursuing that dream, and it still inspires me today. I still dream of, and I will, win a Grammy. And I still have that speech in my head, and I'm still formulating what it is that I'm going to be saying.
I love that. I see that for you. I can
Oh,
see that
thank you so
vision
much.
of you up on stage,
Mm-hmm.
accepting the Grammy, and you're all lit up and excited and joyful.
Right, right. It's good to have a dream. Like I remember I had a friend of mine, and one of the things that really stood out is he told me, I mean, there's some certain things to live for, and then one of them is like a dream, like an inspiration, like an imaginations, as you could say, a dream that you have. And I noticed that as people get older and they don't achieve their dreams, they kind of drop or leave it behind, thinking that it's not attainable. But um, I'm pretty persistent, and I still, I still kind of like reinvigorate my dreams by thinking about it. Like I often imagine a lot, like, here and there, seeing my name like on the Grammy itself. Like I could picture my name, like Joel Del Rosario, best, new producer, or producer of the year. And I imagine that occasionally to remind myself where I'm headed or where I'm going, to give me focus.
Yes, that's great. And it brings forth happiness and confidence too.
Definitely, definitely. And it's almost kind of like whatever you set your mind on, eventually it will manifest itself. If you believe in that, and I've seen that happen many times. Whatever you say, and my wife and I talk about it a lot. I mean, and it's and it says it in. I'm a religious person, but like I mean, it says it in the Bible. Like whatever you speak, it comes into fruition. So we speak positive things, and manifest itself, and vice versa. If you continue to imagine negative things into your life, it'll manifest itself in your life as well. So having a positive imagination and a dream, it gives kind of like the strength to your bones, and the inspiration to keep on moving forward.
Absolutely. I am totally in alignment with that. Yeah, it really does. It's that energy that's behind it. And
Yes.
it really allows us to create our own reality.
Hmm.
As Albert Einstein said, imagination is more important than knowledge, and
Hmm.
we can create our own reality.
Yes. Agreed.
And I was thinking about your music and how music really allows people to stimulate their imagination in different ways in the creative process, especially, of course, listening to a song, we can be more fully immersed and shifting our mood and creating images in our mind when we're listening to a song. And then also when you're playing a song, it's involving a whole different, various areas of the brain as you are connecting to that moment or whatever. I'm sure as a guitarist and a songwriter, you're coming up with you're just creating this melody or this riff or whatever that is a different that's coming straight from your imagination, right?
Yeah, definitely. It's coming from your imagination. It's coming from all the different things that have been built up in your mind, manifesting itself in your spirit. So whatever music that you hear coming from an artist is really something that's been building it inside of us. So you get glimpses of who we really are. spiritually, in our imagination, uh, and the things that we've been um, delving in or meditating on in our minds. You can grasp something like based upon. I mean, sometimes based upon like sometimes from my experience like playing music, you can tell. You could usually tell where somebody's mind is at or their personality by how they play or their thought process. Sometimes like when you have aggressive players and stuff like that, this is from my experience. I don't know if it's true for everybody, but I just noticed that when I play with different individuals, I can hear who they are kind of like as an individual through how they play. If you think of it that way.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I could definitely see that people's personalities come through and how they play music for
Hmm.
sure.
Yeah, I was watching the Bob Marley movie that just came out not a couple of months
Oh,
ago,
nice.
and I was thinking about his personality. And in the movie it was talking about like what it was that he was trying to do. He was trying to unite his home of Jamaica, just trying to unite people together and use music as an outlet to make that happen. And in his mind he was imagining a unified Jamaica, and his gifting allowed him to pursue that. And in the movie, like, he kept on pursuing it based upon like his dream. And even though he faced a lot of difficulties and walls that prevented him from possibly completing his goal and giving up, his imagination of a unified Jamaica kept him moving forward. And I would have to say, I mean, like, I kind of I totally agreed and understood where he was coming from, because I feel the same way. Like, I mean, as a musician, like, I have a goal to spread the gift that has been given to me, to bring light, to bring joy, whether it's to bring peace, like in the middle of like chaos in somebody's life. So it definitely is a powerful tool. It's a powerful outlet that I'm happy and blessed to have.
Ooh, that's great. Thank you so much for sharing that. I really appreciate knowing more of like your mission and from a heart-centered perspective is really powerful.
Yes. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. I appreciate that.
Yeah. And I wanted to ask you, I love to come up with some kind of almost like a little challenge for the listeners each episode so that they can connect to their imagination more deeply.
Hmm.
And what would you recommend if there was some kind of small task that the listeners could do to connect to their imagination, maybe about visioning, like you have shared, some of one of your big dreams, something that they could implement into a daily routine, perhaps?
I think one of the things that as people that are working, and the way social media is today, it's so easy to look at everybody and see what everybody is doing and get into a competitive kind of like comparison mode. I think, well, there's two things I would suggest. Number one is to kind of not compare like your journey to somebody else's, and then just appreciate the journey that you've been given, and the imaginations and the dreams that you have. Another thing that I suggest too, and I challenge people to, is just to continually keep the vision and the dream or the imagination that they have, and hold on to it, and not to give up, even though it seems like it doesn't make sense or it's not going to happen, but just to continually bring it bring it back up occasionally to remind yourself of where you're headed, because sometimes it's easy to get lost in this life's journey, and to give up, and to forget your real gifting and your true gift and your true role in this whole life. So to do those two things, I mean, it's definitely carried me, especially in the music industry. I mean, it's so easy to get competitive, or it's so easy to forget forget your dream because there's so many obstacles coming in your way. But sometimes I just had to sit back and appreciate like how far I've come. And like when I look at it, sometimes like we get so caught up looking at everybody else that we don't look to see how far we've come from where we started. I mean, when I'm looking at, I mean, I was able to attend like the Grammy Awards. I've performed with a lot of people that I listen to the radio. I mean, I got nominated for like an LA Music Award. So, and I've been traveling like all, to different, places to perform. I mean, it's so easy to take those things for granted, but when I look at it, it's amazing, what, you know, imagination was allowed me to accomplish.
Wow,
So I
that's
just
so
challenge,
cool.
yeah, so I just challenge people to do those things. Hopefully it'll help, but I mean, it's definitely helped me and I'm still doing that till today.
Excellent. I really appreciate you sharing your perspectives. And how can the listeners connect with you?
Oh, definitely. So you can find me on Spotify, all your social media outlets like Instagram, Facebook. Just type in Joel Del Rosario. It's Joel Del D like David EL Rosario Rosario. And definitely look forward to connecting with you through social media. Just send me a message and let's definitely connect and definitely listen to my music on Spotify. I have a Christmas album coming out pretty soon that I'm excited about. So I'm looking forward to people hearing that as well.
Excellent. We will definitely put your link in the show notes so people can check you out on Spotify.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Joel. I appreciate your time and all of your stories.
Well, thank you so much, Jenny. I appreciate you as well. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. And for all our listeners, check out Joel's awesome music and practice igniting your imagination this week. Talk to you soon. Bye. If you want to activate your imagination and creativity and have more fun in front of the camera with your photos and videos to market your business online or share your message to make a difference in the world, I'd love to offer you a complimentary 30-minute inspiration session, a Zoom room that we can set up and chat about ideas and inspiration to make your day a celebration with Guided by Imagination. Click the link in the show notes.